tell us a little bit about the poem today that you're going to share with us?
The poem that I'm going to read, I made it because I wanted to get something that I was very emotional about, but I didn't really want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about things that I wanted changed around the world, and yes.
Why didn't you want it to be about you? Where does that come from, that feeling of not wanting to write about yourself?
Well, part of the reason is I think I have a relatively good life, so I don't necessarily have that much to write about. But also, I think even if I do have problems, they're nothing compared to the problems of millions and billions of people around the world.
How did you learn that you have a lucky life? Who taught you that?
I used to, and I still do, read quite a lot of history, and European history to be specific, and I keep in touch with the news. I look on BBC a lot, and so I just, from seeing the people who are suffering, that has changed the way that I think about the world. The contempt of equilibrium. This or that, consumerism, capitalism displayed under the watchful eyes of the maker, the inventor, the $2-a-dayer, the person who labors for hour after hour after day to create what I see as I walk through the doorway to luxury. Oh, how the makers must dream for just the concept of stealing the sweat of another's brow. What if it belonged to them, that little exhibit of what Pax Americana can bring? What if they could leave a tough, though not as tough as the life they already lead, surely, day of work, to be engrossed, swallowed up by capitalism's marvels, a bottle of soda, a packet of pens, all the products you could dream of, right from the sweat of another's brow? What if a world existed where a person's work was their own, not to be shipped away to a place far away, where choices were made that were good either way? But the equilibrium of choices found in a store, contemptible to the masses, who call for Pax Sinica, Pax India, Pax Africa, Pax Brasilia, is a fact of life to us lucky 300 million.
The most important reason why we come together is because this can be a heart-opening experience for the people standing up here on stage and for the people in the audience. I have always seen this as an incredible opportunity when it's framed that way. When we get into this idea of competition that the slam scene can bring, it destroys all of that. And so what I want to remember as we walk into that as a community and engaging in the slam world is that this is about what we say and connecting as a community.
And this is the only way I know how to move my energy besides dancing really hard. So I chose poetry this time.
It's a challenge to be able to use your words in such a way that ignites imagination.
I cradle this glass, trying to fill the empty spaces inside of me with Jameson, because that burn feels better than this ache.
This one's dedicated to a war that's been ongoing long before us and will hopefully see an end within our lifetime, because what else do we really have but hope, our abilities, and our right to refuse all we can't stand for. It's called the right to not remain silent. Here's to those in green, white, black, and blue we entrust to protect and serve. The thing is, we never asked who.
Because prisons are built to keep you there. Rehabilitation only exists within the confines of your heart. Because if you weren't a criminal when you arrived, you will be by the time you leave. And time keeps on ticking, and hope dies slowly when you've got a pair of sneakers by your bed and nowhere to go.
In other words, you better get lucky if you want to live more than you work. And it's thrown in our faces, shows and posts about how much they have and we don't, to distract from the very real adversity in this world. Society this shallow can't survive. It's been proven time after time that there's nothing scarier than worker bees with opinions.
As I stared into his eyes, I wiped the sweat off his dome. Well, who would have thought that his life would ever end this way? He's a victim of stereotypes like being raised in a bay, but nobody cares. He's just a black kid from the hood. He softened the hot water vapors, but his intentions was good.
I know that you have come this evening because of a silence that has taken root within you. A silence you weren't born with. A silence that day by creeping day grows more uncomfortable in its mute witness of the gray frost that forms as you turn your ear to all the world's relentless screaming.
Simon says, I promise I'll leave my wife. Simon says, darling and lovely. Simon says, bitch and whore. Simon says, tell them you walked into a door.
Wisdom and knowledge left college. Wisdom went east, somewhere to a feast. Knowledge went north, south, east, and west in conquest. Technology became life's test.
Sponge all the God from his body, every drop. Take more than you need. Save it for when you are out of courage.
Glass is half broken and some words not written are often not spoken. Somebody's at the door, so I'm holding it open while the floor is a portal I have stepped through and awoken.
This temple called my body is going to greedily gorge on a bacon avocado cheeseburger with a greasy side of fries, slurp down an evil corporation, non-nutritious, empty calorie Coke, prop muddy feet on a polished tabletop, channel surf reality TV, and belch.
The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off when there are no more bluefin tuna swimming in the sea. No more snowy plovers nesting in the sand. Then, yes then, can we stop pretending like this could be some master plan or some God's intention we live like this?
When I came to those amazing cliffs, it was like a movie. The clouds parted and the sun shined right down on me.
Oh, I'm on fire tonight, Therese!
Yeah! It takes all the running you can do to keep in the same place. Lewis Carroll.
Her 3-year-old mouth peeled away the surface of the apple. She sank her teeth into her grandmother's garden. The tree towered over 4,000 years of her story. Eve was the first to wrap her plump lips around tender flesh, swallowing the wisdom of God's fruit. She fashioned her crown out of thorned berries, began competing with pleasure, cooperating with pain, running from the Red Queen through Lilith's wonderland. It was her mother Mary who gave virgin birth to the first son of co-creation. Triangles weren't always the building blocks of the universe. The 9 muses spun circular logic like cosmic spiderwebs, lassoing stardust into nursery rhymes, canonizing the questions into scriptures of the you and I verse. She was only 3, a father, a mother, and she. He was somewhere outside the equation, resting on the riverbank of what came before. The reverberations of clanking rocks, a tempting path up the ridge, paddling upstream and slapping soft soles on hand-cut stepping stones. My moments alone cast light on the dead metaphors
tucked into the dark corners of my bedroom. And as that 3-year-old girl carelessly chewed on the flesh of my daydreams, she unknowingly pulled the candy red apple sheets off of my naked body and forced me to feel the current thrashing his dragon's tail, splattering paint on my ribbed canvases, carving this one question onto my pale wall, asking, what would it feel like to believe there is a reason to listen? I want to learn how to pray. From the distance between the burning sun and the shadowy moon.
I want to learn how to pray. From the intoxicating cider left on my skin.
From the clouds stretched thin across the sky's kingdom. But mostly, I want to learn how to pray. From the story etched into the spiral staircase of that little girl's 3-year-old curl.